Do this one again. I want to redo the video just so it's a little bit cleaner. Okay, so it says 44% of U.S. adults have very little confidence in newspapers. You randomly select 10 U.S. adults, find the probability that the number of U.S. adults who have very little confidence in newspapers. Let's do the first part, A, exactly 5. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do here, my N. N is the number of people we have selected. So we've selected 10 adults, okay? P, my probability. The probability is the percent of adults who have very little confidence in newspapers. That's 44%, which would be 0.44. So remember, guys, my Q will be 1 minus 0.44, which would be 0.56. And what we're asked to find here is that the probability is exactly 5. So this is telling me that my X is 5. Okay, so guys, I'm going to do this on my calculator app. And I'm going to use the binomial PDF. Okay, so let me get my calculator app going. Let me clear this out. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go second and the VARS button. And I'm going to go to part A where it says binomial PDF. And I want you to look what it says. It says the number of trials, comma, P, comma, X. So remember, the number of trials is the number of adults we selected, my N value, which was 10, comma, the p-value, that was the percent of adults who had little confidence in newspapers. That was 0.44, comma, and then how many adults were we looking at? Exactly 5. I'm going to hit enter, and I believe it said for us to round to 3 decimal places, so my answer would be 0.229. So right here, the probability that it's exactly 5 is 0.229. Okay. Now let's do part B. Part B says at least 6. Okay, so part B says at least 6. Remember what at least 6 means? It means 6 or more. So what this actually means is that I would look at 6, and look at 7, and I would look at 8, and I would look at 9, and I would look at 10, and I would have to do exactly what I did in part A, but I'd have to do it 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd have to do it 5 times and then add up all those numbers. The other thing we can do is we can say, why don't we find the probability that X is smaller than 6, meaning the probability that X is smaller than or equal to 5, and then we'll take 1 minus that answer. Now, the reason why I want to do this is I can find the probability that X is less than or equal to 5 using my binomial CDF. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. I'm going to come back to my calculator app. I'm going to clear this out. I'm going to go second VARS. And if you look at if you scroll the way down, it says binomial CDF. And click it. And look, it says the number of trials, which is still 10. My probability, which is still 0.44. And because we're looking for smaller than or equal to 5, I'm going to put 5. Now, what this is going to do, this is going to give me the probability that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and it's actually going to add them all up for me. So again, if I go to 3 decimal places, I'm coming up with 0.759. So the probability here is 0.759. And now, remember what I need to do. I need to do 1 minus 0.759. So let me get my calculator again. 1 minus 0.759. Oops, I put too many minuses. 1 minus 0.759. And I'm coming up with 0.241. So my answer here, 0.241. All right. And now let's go to part C. So part C says less than 4. What's the probability that X is going to be less than 4? That means it's going to be the probability of 0, or the probability of 1, or the probability of 2, or the probability of 3. Okay? So less than 4 means the same thing that X is smaller than or equal to 3. Again, I can do this part here, guys, using, again, my binomial CDF. Remember, C stands for cumulative, which means I'm adding them all up. Okay? So Let me try that one more time. Let me get my calculator app right here. Okay, so I'm going to go second vars. I'm going to go to binomial CDF, still with 10, comma 0.44, comma, and we wanted 3. And I'm coming up with 0.288. And so my answer here is 0.288.